I just have that song Happy playing in my head. I just can't get it out of my mind. I'd like to welcome everyone to the groundbreaking ceremony for the Atlanta Beltline's Westside Trail. This is indeed, yeah, y'all can clap for that. I know I am. This is a momentous occasion for Southwest Atlanta and all of Atlanta, and for the progress of the Atlanta Beltline. Thank you to all of the elected officials who joined us today. And because I don't want to miss anyone, because this has been a true partnership, I want to take some time to acknowledge the elected officials from all of the jurisdictions that contribute to the Atlanta Beltline. We have Atlanta's own Emma Darnell from the Mighty Five. I was thinking about the fifth. Commissioner, stand up. Let everybody see you. We have Liz Hausman on the front row with Tom Ford glasses on, looking fabulous. I hope I don't get any. She said she bought them in Atlanta, so I feel good about that. We have Joan Gardner, who is here. Joan's a fabulous member of the Fulton County Commission. And then we've got amazing school board partners here today. Cynthia Briscoe Brown is a member of the Atlanta Beltline Board. Please give her a big round of applause. We have Byron Amos in the house. Byron, stand up. He's gray on gray today. I love that combination. And is Leslie Grant here today? Hey Leslie, give her a big round of applause. And then we have our distinguished council president. Caesar Mitchell is here. Caesar, wave to everybody. Let everybody see you. Who you pointing at, Caesar? Help me. I'm getting old. Oh, Matt Westmoreland from the school board is in the house. I'm sorry. Eyes are failing me. We also have a councilwoman, Joyce Shepard. Joyce, this is a big day for you. Where is she? Stand up. Wave to everybody. We also have Cleta Winslow. She's my big sister. Where's Cleta Winslow? Councilwoman Winslow. Do we have any other members of council in the house, Mr. President? Well, I want to thank them for the help. Oh, where's Pat Gardner? Hey, Pat. I didn't see you. You know, I wouldn't have missed you intentionally. I'm getting old, though. I want to say thanks to the Atlanta Beltline Partnership's founding leadership once again for their amazing commitment to the success of this effort. And that also extends to the Atlanta Beltline Board, chaired by John Summerhalder. I also want to thank Paul Morris and the board of the Atlanta Beltline Partnership. All of these individuals love this project and work tirelessly on it every single day. It's now my high honor to introduce a man who has long supported the Atlanta Beltline and has served as a voice for the community for this entire process. He just finished up his 9-year tenure as a member of the board of directors for the Atlanta Beltline Partnership. Please welcome Reverend Gerald Durley, Pastor Emeritus of Providence Missionary Baptist Church, as he leads us in an invocation.
I am excited! I am excited! Are you excited? Are you excited? This is the day that God has set aside for this side of town. And it feels right. It feels good. Now for a blessing and an invocation, which simply means that we're going to invoke what is already here, because I see God on your face. So I can't ask you to come. I can ask you to reach over and do something that's very important. I want everybody except for the cameramen to touch some, and women. Oh, it's hard in the real world. To just touch somebody. More people will die of having not been touched this year. Just touch somebody, because that's what the Beltline is all about. Reaching over and touching. Touch somebody. No one should be left untouched, because the Beltline throughout this city is touching and changing this city. Almighty and merciful God, we thank you for this beautiful fall day. The planet is pleased and the environment is grateful for this blessing to our city. We have gathered here this morning to thank God for all of those who thought it not robbery to spend hours of hard work and thousands of financial donations to provide this community with the gift of health, joy, and peace. We've gathered here as a family of one behind the leadership of our visionary leader, Mayor Kasim Reed. We ask for the blessings of safety and serenity on this hallowed ground. May it provide a green space where friends and strangers can meet, appreciate, and enjoy this gift to us from you. As the ribbon is cut, let it open new vistas and horizons to all who will walk, jog, and run on this trail. Thank you for this blessing. Thank you for this day. Thank you for the person's hands whom we hold. And God, this moment we say thank you for all that you have, will, and are doing in our lives. In the name of all of the great prophets, we say amen. 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 Let God hear you. Amen. Thank you.
You know, we're in order now. Thought he was going to close the fundraising gap and take up the top. Go ahead and get another million. Reverend Darley, I want to thank you for being here to celebrate this important milestone. The Westside Trail represents really an unprecedented $43 million investment in Atlanta's West Side and marks another significant step forward for the Atlanta Beltline. This is the largest infrastructure project that these neighborhoods have seen in 30 years above the ground. And it's the largest ever expansion of the Atlanta Beltline. The Westside Trail will connect the Beltline to multiple neighborhoods in parts of the city that really have not had access to this amenity before. And it will demonstrate the city of Atlanta's commitment to build the Beltline in every single part of the city, from the north side to the south side, and from the east side to the west side. I remember Commissioner Darnell asking, probing, when are we going to get to the west side? When are we getting to southwest Atlanta? Well, Commissioner, today we're headed to southwest Atlanta. And so for all of those who have raised issues of equity and asked whether this was going to be something that was for everybody, today we're making a $43 million investment in that promise. This multi-purpose trail will serve as a new foundation for connectivity and economic development in Southwest Atlanta, while preserving the uniqueness of these historic communities. And we're here today thanks to the success of an unprecedented public-private partnership at the local, state, and national levels. I love that theme music of trains in the background, because transit is coming to the Beltline one day. The city of Atlanta competed for and won an $18 million Tiger 5 grant from President Obama's administration. And today I want to say thank you to President Obama, and thank you to the Secretary of Transportation, Anthony Fox, for believing in the city of Atlanta. That investment was one of the, thank you, we can clap for that. That was one of the 3 largest Tiger 5 grants in the United States of America. The Georgia Department of Transportation enabled the purchase of the Westside Trail Corridor through a $9.5 million local match, which increased our competitiveness in Washington, D.C. And we also secured funding from the Atlanta Regional Commission's Transportation Improvement Plan. All of this paved the way for significant investment from private philanthropy and accelerated construction on the Westside Trail by 2 to 3 years. The philanthropic community came together in a way that few cities do. We were able to raise $10 million for the federal match, which would not have been possible without the support of the James M. Cox Foundation, the Path Foundation, and others in the city's philanthropic community. Please give them a huge round of applause. The doing what we do in Atlanta. Please take the time before you go to take a look at the stage where we have a list of the donors to whom we all owe a debt of gratitude. They include John Portman, Charlie Loudermilk, Sarah Kennedy, Carrie Conan, Madeline Adams, Susan and Richard Anderson, Mike Donnelly, and so many others. Please give them another round of applause. We wouldn't be here today without these folks. And with the support of the Federal Highway Administration, we were able to meet the aggressive timeline set forth by the Tiger Grant. And I want to thank Paul Morris for achieving this objective. We got federal approvals in 9 months that typically take 24 months. So this has been an expedited project. Construction is expected to take approximately 2 years, and I'll be here when it's done. So let's go. Let's make it happen. Our friend Jim Kennedy was not able to be with us today, but it's my personal pleasure to welcome his son, Jamie Kennedy, to speak on behalf of the Cox Foundation today. Jamie, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor Reed, and thank you, Reverend, for an excellent wake-up prayer. I missed my cup of coffee this morning, and I'm feeling great now. I'm here today on behalf of Cox Enterprises, which is an organization owned by my family. And Cox and my family, by extension, have been very strong advocates and supporters of the Beltline. We started with contributing to the initial capital campaign, and we supported the Eastside Trail as well, which is where I happen to live. And based on the success in fundraising on the Eastside Trail, where our contribution catalyzed other philanthropic organizations and private donors to donate, and based on the success of the trail, and if anyone spent time over there really rallying and creating a sense of community, we couldn't help but continue to support the Beltline as it moved into a new community. So why is Cox and my family so excited about the Beltline? There are two reasons. The first of which is really, as a business, Cox depends on having the best and brightest workforce. And our ability to really attract talented employees depends on how attractive and vibrant the city in which we are headquartered is. And so an investment in the Beltline is really an investment in making the city a place where people want to live, a place where people can live active lifestyles, go walking and go running, or do simple things like avoid their cars for a few minutes and walk to the grocery store and bump into their neighbors, which seems so simple, but in our car-dependent lifestyles is actually hard to have. And so we believe in that and its ability to create an attractive place for Atlanta, for employees. And so we will continue to support the Beltline in appropriate ways moving forward. The second reason is probably even more important. As a corporation here in Atlanta, we have an obligation to support the communities that we provide services to. That's in our own interest, but more importantly, it's a moral obligation. We have a profitable business and want to be able to provide the infrastructure that all Atlantans, those who could move here, but as well as those who already live here, can benefit from. So we are excited to support the Beltlines moving to this new community who will likely develop the Beltline in their own unique way. And we're excited to see that happen. And lastly, I would just like to thank all of y'all for coming out today. I think whether you're part of government, whether you work in education, whether you're just a fan of the Beltline or a member of this local community, the fact that you're here illustrates that you're engaged in the future of Atlanta. And I'm frankly excited to see so many folks here and to work with y'all to make Atlanta a better, stronger, more vibrant community. So thank you for your time today, for all of your work. And now I will introduce a man who's done a lot in a relatively short amount of time for the Beltline, Paul Morris, the CEO and president of the Beltline. Thank you.
Well, I couldn't imagine being anywhere else today. I thank you all for coming out this morning and extend my welcome to you as well. And thank you, Mayor Reed and Jamie, council members, commissioners, neighbors, and friends. This is your Beltline. This is where we come together because of the commitment, the discipline that you've all brought to ensuring that the Beltline continues to reach out to and connect all of Atlanta. And we come together because we stand around an old familiar phrase that teamwork makes for dream work. And there is no better example of that and the truthfulness of that phrase than the event that we're here to be a part of. We've been waiting for this day for a very, very long time. And as Mayor Reed mentioned, we'd still be waiting for probably 2 or 3 more years were it not for the commitment, the extraordinary partnerships, and the engagement that was forged among local, state, and federal agencies and the private sector. Projects like this are rooted in strong partnerships. And I can't imagine how we'd be able to stand here without those partnerships making it possible, pushing against the tide of history, and really against great odds that would have said this would never come to the Southwest. Many of the people that are standing around you today were the reason that we are standing here, because of their commitment, their ability and willingness to say, this is more important than anything else we're doing. Whether it be the Atlanta Regional Commission led by Doug Hooker, who at a regional scale recognizes the extraordinary transformation a project like this has on the lifestyle, the health, and well-being of our citizens. And our partners at Fulton County and Atlanta Public Schools, who continue to be partners, who continue to work with us, who care about the residents, the citizens, and the children of this city and this region, and really know what it means to serve the community of Atlanta. We stand here today getting ready to see 3 new miles happen from this very point north to Washington Park, reuniting, and in many cases uniting for the first time, 10 neighborhoods long ago separated by an industrial railroad. This simple 14-foot wide path will do well more than just connect all of the communities. It will bring life and vitality to schools, to kids. It will make it possible for them to walk and bike to school safely every day. And it will give an opportunity for even kids to come together. This segment in its own right adds 30 acres of new parkland, green space, open space to our city's inventory. A new way to think about infrastructure and transportation in which parks are an integral part. By connecting economic centers of activity and improving quality of life, and even connecting eventually to MARTA, we will create a whole new way for Atlantans to move and to make South Atlanta a part of that lifestyle. Nothing is more important and a higher priority to us than public safety. And we have the task force represented here. Chief Turner and his team have made this a top priority for them as well. And we're committed to you today. The safety that we provide on the east side will be the safety we provide on the west side, going forward and forevermore. As Mayor said, it will take 24 months for us to build this out. That time will be spent working feverishly to make sure it is done well and good, and that the neighborhoods are treated in a fair and respectful way, and their issues as we go forward are taken care of. But that wouldn't have even been possible had it not been for the Herculean efforts of a team, as Mayor said, to come together at the Atlanta Beltline, Invest Atlanta, the Atlanta Beltline Partnership, and our consultants, led by Kimley Horn, and other consultants, a whole team of whom did something, an extraordinary time frame that all would have said was not possible, all the way up to and including our partners in Washington, who said trying to do something in 9 months that takes 24 months is not possible. But it goes to the core of who we are in Atlanta, right? We believe in fighting against the odds and making these things happen. We punch above our weight. We have great ambition, and we seek to show others what is possible. We are so proud of the partners in the nonprofit community, from the Path Foundation and Trees Atlanta to Park Pride and so many others who have adopted the Atlanta Beltline as a mission for their own cause. And I would be remiss if I did not, like Mayor Reed, express a personal and sincere gratitude of thanks to my own board at the Atlanta Beltline Incorporated and to the board at the Atlanta Beltline Partnership. Their leadership over the many years that have brought us to this day what has made it possible, and made it possible in a big way for us all to get to stand here in a moment of almost disbelief and actually breaking ground on this project. My team members at the Atlanta Beltline are really the champions today, and many of you have on your lapel a pin called the Westside Trail Champions that we specially made for this occasion, because the Herculean efforts that it took to achieve and accomplish this goal asked a team of designers, architects, engineers, and planners to work together in a way they never had before, to raise their game, to achieve excellence beyond what they thought was possible. And many of them are standing out upon the crowd today, and I have to mention a few of them and ask you, I was going to ask you to stand, but I think you already are, but to wave your hands. Catherine, Lisa, Fred, Patrice, Valinda, Michelle, Kevin, Megan, Beth, Lynette, and Nathan. You all did the heavy lifting, often on weekends and evenings on your own time, because you knew this was about the city and about the people of Atlanta, and you were not going to be swayed by the resistance and barriers that were before us. Most of all, it's your continued support as residents and neighbors of Atlanta. It is your vision that the Atlanta Beltline is intended to fulfill. And you continue to be our compass heading. You continue to be our conscience. And you continue to be our voice. You provide critical commentary. You help us move our way. You provide guidance. And it would not be without you that this Atlanta Beltline would not be going forward. This is your Atlanta Beltline. And we can hardly wait to get started. We are so excited about what the future holds for the city of Atlanta as we extend the Atlanta Beltline to the southwest, and even more importantly, in the months and years to come, begin to close the loop. So thank you personally so much for being here today. And with that, I'd like to bring Stacy Key, our 5th Congressional District Board member for the Georgia Department of Transportation, forward, who is and has been one of our greatest partners, to say a few words along with and following her, Doug Hooker, the Executive Director of the Atlanta Regional Commission, who on many days made decisions on our behalf at the moment we needed them most. Both of these organizations have been so instrumental in thinking about what we're doing and recognizing that the Atlanta Beltline is about the region, it is about Georgia. And so with that, please come forward, Stacy.
Good morning. And first of all, I want to congratulate Mayor Reed and Paul Morris for their efforts around the Beltline. This is a phenomenal day. When I joined the DOT board about 1.5 years ago, the first initiative that I had the opportunity to be a part of was the Atlanta Beltline. And so I want you to understand that at the DOT we are committed, we will support, and we'll do everything in our power to continue the efforts of the Atlanta Beltline and your initiative. This is just incredible, this whole effort. So on behalf of the DOT board and the employees of Georgia, thank you for giving me the opportunity to share in this very, very special event. I'm honored and especially pleased to be here celebrating the groundbreaking of 3-mile multi-use trail that will connect Washington Park, Adair Park, to the multiple communities in between. As you know, the Beltline corridor connects nearly 50 communities in the region. This portion of the overall system will connect an economically disadvantaged population to bus routes, schools, rail, parks, and other community assets. As your state transportation representative for the mighty 5th Congressional District, and I like to think of the 5th Congressional is the heart of this state. Yes, it is. It's the heart of the state. My other board members will tell you something different, but I'll tell you, we are the heart of the state. We keep this engine going. I'm proud that there are investments in transportation alternatives. All of you know there are many challenges around transportation. There are committees, there's conversation, there's going to be has to be additional investment in our transportation infrastructure. So with that, the Atlanta streetcar, I really want to applaud Mayor Reed as well. The Atlanta streetcar, phenomenal. We got to give our mayor a front. I love the streetcar, and I want to share with you the streetcar, picture of the streetcar will be on the back of the map for the state of Georgia for the next 2 years. So I want everybody to know that, so that's part of what we're doing at DOT. But at any rate, as evidence of our commitment to the Beltline, Georgia DOT sold portions of its rail corridor to Invest Atlanta at cost to help begin this ambitious Beltline dream. We're delighted to be your partner. We stand ready to support this project and all of the Beltline in any way we can. So I congratulate you on your hard work and the partnership that has propelled this project so far. I thank you for the opportunity to be here to celebrate. I thank you for building an excellent transportation alternative, and we need many more, I'll tell you, in this region, and especially for your commitment to the city of Atlanta and the communities it serves. Thank you. Mr. Doug Hooker.
Good morning. I'm not going to try to imitate Reverend Durley, but I will speak loud. Thank you for being here this morning. On behalf of the Atlanta Regional Commission, it's my pleasure to be here. You know, our job is to try to see as much as possible the big picture and see out into the horizon and try to get communities and leaders to come together to work on things to help strengthen us as a regional community. We see the Beltline and the city as the heart of this region. One of the things I said to Mayor Reed when I first took office, I pledged that I would do everything to have the ARC work with the city and be a partner to help strengthen the city, because the city is the flagship government for this whole region. It's the brand by which we all fly when we leave out of Hartsville or somewhere off 75 or 85. We see the Beltline as three things: connectivity, community, and heart. Connectivity is the obvious. So we break ground today, and in 2 years we'll be able to easily walk from Adair Park up to Washington Park and access all the neighbors and the neighborhoods in between. And it's a wonderful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And as the Beltline continues to build other segments, more communities will be connected. But community. The Beltline is itself a community. And all those who support it, and all those who use it, and all those who benefit by it, all recognize that we are in fact a unique kind of a community around this solo project. And it's amazing how people have come together to believe in this vision and try to help forward it and bring it to completion as rapidly as possible, right, Mayor? And last but not least, heart. So goes Atlanta, so goes Metro Atlanta. And the Beltline is like a circular artery that's going to strengthen the heart of Atlanta and thereby strengthen the whole regional community. What can be better than that? You can't have a strong body if the heart's not thriving. Beltline, city, region. From the inside, from the heart out. And so we think that everything that we can do, and we look forward to everything we can continue to do to support this marvelous project, this wonderful staff, our great mayor who has helped strengthen and revitalize our city and taken us to new heights nationally. And this project is not only a great local project, it's been recognized nationally and internationally, having won a recent award just this year. And just to know, Paul, we will continue to do everything we can to support the city, mayor, and the Beltline. Great project, and what a great day. And I'll turn it back over to you.
I want to take a point of personal privilege because we have been joined by some more of our colleagues. They had committee meetings. So Councilwoman Keisha Lance Bottoms, please wave to everybody. I know you all would have been here. Councilwoman Mary Norwood is here. Please wave to everyone, Mary. Councilmember Michael Julian Bond is here. Hey, Michael. Councilmember Kwanzaa Hall is in the house. And on our stage, we have Councilmember Ivory Young, who has joined us.
Thank you, Mayor. That couldn't have been a more helpful cue, because now at this time we'd like to begin by inviting up our three council members for whom this segment of the Atlanta Beltline is connecting both in their districts and to their neighbors and friends, starting with Councilmember Joyce Shepard.
Thank you so much. I want to first of all thank Mayor Reed and the Atlanta Beltline, Paul, and all the staff. I was on the board of the Beltline for about 4 years, And Emma, I'm looking at you out there, and there was many days that, as Mary Reed said, Emma and I was fighting for the South Side. We was continuously saying, when is the Beltline coming to the South Side of Atlanta? People in our community did not believe that the Beltline would come to the South Side of Atlanta. That was the belief from the beginning, and my commitment, I know Emma Darnell, Commissioner Darnell, we was at the Beltline fighting every day. I remember very specifically one day we got into a heated debate with Mayor Reed, and we talked about equity and economic development. And I believe Kathy Willard, who's also here on the board, she was at that board meeting also. And we just started talking about how the Beltline not only is just a trail that brings in walking and health and all of that, but it's also an economic development generator. And so one of the things we talked about is how we, as you look at the old 4th Ward in Kwanzaa Hall, you're out there, and I see, as you go to the old 4th Ward and walk the Beltline, look at all of what has happened in terms of the Beltline, in terms of economic development. So as we talked about it, we talked about the whole, what the Atlanta Beltline does in terms of bringing that. And lo and behold, what came to our thoughts was, and something that I brought up, was the fact that the State Farmers Market was for sale. And what are we going to do about that? And that it was on the Beltline in my district. And again, we talked about very specifically about that in terms of the fact, another economic development generator, and the fact it was literally on, as a matter of fact, here's the building. Mayor Reed said, let's see if we can go get that building. We're going to get that building. And I would tell you, in the last year, literally, is that not what he said, Emma and Kathy? Through that process, through Invest Atlanta and the Atlanta Beltline and staff, in the last 2 months, the State Farmers Market is now under the control of the Atlanta Beltline. And that, again, is an example of a commitment. So we talk about the State Farmers Market right here. Then across the street, we're going to have our first urban farm that I'm so excited about on the Beltline. And that's what I love about the Beltline, is the fact that it actually does different things in different parts of the community. The Beltline is just not about, if you go to Old 4th Ward, it will have something that's unique and different. When it comes to this community, it will have something else that will be unique and different. So I'm excited about it. I also want to recognize all my neighborhood folks who live, we talk about Adair Park, Capitol View, Sylvan Hill, and Oakland City. All my neighbors, please raise, my community folks, please raise your hand and give out a shout. They have been fighting for this for a long time. And I would tell you, one of the things that happens in terms of that is that as we grow our communities in terms of the Beltline and all the things that happen, people not only talk economic development in terms of housing, but shops and stores and restaurants and farms and all of that. People, if you look across the street, there's a real estate sign that says Atlanta Beltline Realty Company on the Beltline. So that's what the Beltline is doing for our communities. It's bringing economic development to our communities. I also want to thank Fulton County. Just last week this time, I was actually 4 or 5 blocks away at another part of the Beltline that's going to go east at the corner of Deal and Metropolitan, and you can walk from there. And we just did groundbreaking last week for a 25,000-foot regional library that you can actually throw a rock from there to the Beltline. So I want to thank Fulton County and their commitment to our communities. And how, as we collaborate, we paint the picture in terms of all the great things that are happening in our community. And as I'm talking about my community, we talk about the Beltline. We have this beautiful park, Adair Park 1 down the street, Adair Park 2 right down the street from here, Perkinson Park, Emma Milliken Park. And we talk about all the parks. Is when people come to the Beltline, they can go off and go to these great parks in our community. But they also, Fort McPherson literally is a mile down the road. So on the south side of Atlanta, when we talk about Atlanta's south side, Mary and all the folks involved, ARC, everyone, truly, south side of Atlanta is becoming the south side that's going to grow. We're going to build from this, and the Beltline is a major part of this. I can't thank everybody who's been involved. Thank you so much for believing in the south side, and my resident, all of us fighting to make sure that the south side of Atlanta is something that will really grow. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Before I start making my remarks, I really want to thank Mr. Kennedy. The Cox Enterprises has been very much involved in District 4 with Habitat for Humanity. And they've gone into some neighborhoods that actually needed new housing, needed a lot of work done to bring those communities back. And I just want to personally say thank you to the Cox Enterprise and all the volunteers, because at times there were 200 or 300 volunteers that were out, and I came out on a number of occasions along with Clark Howard, and thank them. So we appreciate you being here today. The beginnings of the Beltline actually started right down the street behind me, in the neighborhood that I live in historic West End. At that time, we were pushing very hard to get at least a walking and bike path. So to that effort, the first part of the Beltline opened up in 2008. And as part of that, and Joyce knows we've been talking a lot about murals lately, but to that effort, and in regard to artwork, there's a beautiful mural that's on White Street in historic West End that was really put together by the Bureau of Cultural Affairs, an artist by the name of Malika Favorite, and we got the help of the Atlanta School Board representative. And we got Brown Middle School, and we got those young people involved, because one of the things that I think we understand is that to keep this going, we've got to educate our young people as to what the Beltline is and what it's all about. So we had an opportunity to bring the young people in, some young artists in from Brown Middle School, who helped the artists do a rendering and put the artwork together and do the paintings. Since then, art on the Beltline has become a very prominent part of the Beltline, and that's been very, very good for us. Let me say another thing, because as we start moving along, we're really starting to get the interest of developers on the Beltline. As quiet as it's kept, Universal Studios is now in West End. They're very, very quiet, but they're over there shooting. They've bought a building over there, and that's thanks to a lot of the tax credits that have been given to the industry to attract them here. In addition to that, and I hope I'm not speaking out of school, but I see somebody from Westview. People know Kim King, the architect that has now passed on, but he's been very instrumental in working in this area, and he's bought a church over in the Westview community. And of course, the Beltline is going to touch the Westview community as well. It's going to touch Mosley Park, Just Us community, and go into Councilmember Young's district into Washington Park. So we're starting to get some interest, in the area, and that's what we've been looking for. That's what we've been wanting. And as my colleague Joy Shepard said, it may be different than on the east side, and that's good, because it's going to be unique to our area, to this area of town. So again, I just want to thank. I really want to thank the mayor, because there's a lot of things that he does that a lot of people don't know about. To get $43 million of Tiger Grant money, that's not an easy thing to get. And and a good portion of that money came from Washington, D.C. So let's give him another hand. He has a tendency to be very modest, but things don't move by themselves. And I want to thank all those who have come out here today. Without good neighborhoods and without good neighbors in good neighborhoods, and Joyce has already given the accolades to a number of residents who are here, people would not be moving into this area. So we've got great things that are happening on the south side. We're very excited to represent the neighbors and the neighborhoods in Districts 4, District 3, and District 12. Again, thank you for being out here, and we look forward to continued growth with our partners from Fulton County, from the state of Georgia, and from the Atlanta School Board. Thank you.
to our mayor, Mayor Kasim Reed, Brother Morris, to my former pastor and lifelong spiritual advisor, Dr. Gerald Durley, and to all the platform guests and my colleagues and my friends and neighbors. You know, wow. This is a great day. You've heard a lot of speeches. But, you know, your presence here today really is kind of a referendum. You know, no big vote today, no big legislative action, but, you know, you're here because you love the West Side, because there's work to do on the West Side. Is there not work to do on the West Side? You know, your presence here today is an acknowledgement that this is not just a soundbite, that this is a project that you believe in, and that this is a project that you're committed to. Because let me tell you, I see Brother Bill Bowling out there, I see Atlanta Housing Authority, I see boards of education, I see institutions of higher learning. And as we sit in the shadows of boarded up buildings, as we sit in the shadows of school systems that will, maybe not now, but will produce outcomes that will transform lives, as we sit in a community that is desperate for your engagement. I'm talking to the Moses and the Mosettes of this audience, that it is time to accept your calling. This is not a spectator sport. This requires your direct involvement. And each of us here, regardless of your title, no big I's, no little U's, but each of us have to be engaged in a real conversation about, will we transform the West Side? So there is work to do here, folks. I'm excited. And yeah, we're breaking ground on a trail. This is not a bridge to nowhere. These are neighborhoods that have meaning. These are still residents that still live next to these boarded up houses that are absolutely committed to their transformation. I, as a 25-year resident of Vine City, committed. But folks, we got to do more than just show up for these events. The classrooms are full of future legends. These neighborhoods are full of future legends. And what role will you play? Will you just show up to the event? Or will you roll your sleeves up? Or will you make the investment? Or will you speak to the transformation of the West Side? We are not dead. We are alive and well. And I want to thank our mayor, because it wouldn't have happened. You know, we just did something a couple weeks ago called an election, and I see people from all different sorts of colors and parties and affiliations standing beside each other. You know, it's beautiful. I don't know if you see what I see, but this is beautiful. Let's take it beyond the politics, and let's deal with the real life issues that impact the family in that house, next to that boarded up house, next to that poorly performing school down the street. And today, from this point forward, let's make a real difference. Ask the question and answer it today. What will you do?
I just want to say recognizing another thing that I forgot to overlook in our neighborhoods. I want to thank the Atlanta Public School System. We're building a brand new state-of-the-art middle school right down the street on Sylvan Road. They tore down the old Sylvan Middle School and they're building a new one. Let's give them a hand. All school board members, thank you so much for what y'all are doing for our community also. Thank you.
All right, it's time to toss some dirt. So if my colleagues on the stage will take your positions down there, and then any of the elected officials, there's a shovel with your name on it. So please go and grab it, and any of our elected partners at the school board or Fulton County Commission or City Council who want to get behind us, please come and do it.
1,